Hey everybody, how's it going? It's the Daily Shooter, and today I've got a big update for you in the case of Miller v. Becerra, which is a case out of California challenging California's current assault weapons ban. This is an update about 8 months in the making, so stay tuned and we'll talk about what could be happening for a possible California Freedom Week 2.0. So let's get started. This channel is proud to be supported by the Firearms Policy Coalition. Make sure you check that link in the description box, become a member, and donate when you can. And when you become a member, you're going to get your Firearms Policy Coalition membership card and your All the Rights, All the Time patch. And by the USCCA. I've been a Platinum member for about 4 years now. That's about 3.5 years longer than they've supported this channel. And I got to tell you, that is one card you need in your wallet. Should you find the need to defend yourself with a firearm in the home, out of the home, while carrying, while traveling, you need to, one, keep your mouth shut when the police show up. Do not say anything unless a lawyer is present. So you call 911 and then you call the number on the back of that USCCA card. They will send you out a pro Second Amendment attorney, nothing out of pocket. You don't have to worry about anything. Call that number, they'll send somebody out to you and let them speak for you and let them take care of it. It is absolute 100% peace of mind, and the USCCA and their attorneys will stick with you through the entire process, including any possible civil litigations that might come afterwards. So you're found innocent, no crime has been committed, you defended yourself. But now the family of that person is coming after you for money. Well, the USCCA is going to be there for you then as well. So again, it is 100% peace of mind. Links are down in the description box. Now, it's been a little while since I made a video about Miller v. Becerra. I think the last video that I made was maybe late January, early February of 2020, and now here we are mid-October of 2020, and we're still talking about the same thing. And that's because back in January, on January 29th, Judge Roger T. Benitez, who is a federal judge, the same federal judge that's responsible for California's first Freedom Week and for some pro-Second Amendment rulings since then, was supposed to hear evidence for an injunction, and I'm going to use acronyms, in California's AWB, which is their current ban, right? So he was supposed to hear that in January, and then it got pushed forward to February, and then it got pushed forward even more. And guess what happened during that time period? Yep, lockdowns, and they started limiting groups. The courts started closing. We had all sorts of problems, and then it was basically pushed forward indefinitely. So fast forward from January, February of 2020 to October 19th, which is today of 2020, Judge Roger T. Benitez finally heard it. So that means that as of today, that judge, that same judge that's responsible for the first Freedom Week, is going to be considering an injunction on California's AWB. So what does that mean for you? So here's what it means, and it doesn't mean this immediately. He has to come up with a decision, okay? So the judge hears everything, he considers everything, he takes his time to look over the facts and the testimony and the documents, and then he comes to a conclusion. He makes his decision on whether to issue an injunction against California's AWB. I think it's Penal Code Section 30315, and it would essentially eliminate enforcement of that entire penal code. So we don't know if he's going to come out with a decision today, tomorrow, could be the next day, could be a week, could be 2 weeks from now. Okay, that is totally up to him as to when he wants to make a decision. So he can choose to go forward with the injunction, which by all accounts, that's something that he would definitely do. Pretty much everything Second Amendment that's come before him recently, he has issued some type of injunction on. Now, the injunctions have been overturned by other parties, and in one case, even by himself in the original Freedom Week, which only lasted a week. But even when he overturned his own injunction, he still allowed for the things that were purchased and bought and being used during that 1 week time period to stay legal. So they weren't, they didn't basically put a stay on it and say that everything you just got was now going to be taken away or something. So all evidence leads to the point that it looks very good that he might actually issue this injunction. Now, just like always, remember that Javier Becerra, who's the Attorney General of California, has probably got something already prepared in order to try and overturn that injunction, to put a stay on that injunction. And he's probably going to file for that almost immediately. Does it mean that he'll get his stay if he asks for it? No, that's not what that means. If Becerra asks for a stay and the stay is not granted, then the injunction is going to stay in place. And that means for you that you'll be able to have standard ARs like pretty much everybody else. That you'll be able to go out and you'll be able to get the things that you want in the configuration that you want them, in the configuration that they were originally intended, in the configuration that they were originally designed, so that you could have the same Second Amendment rights that you were supposed to have from the beginning that just about everybody else, maybe minus New York and some other states, already enjoy. Okay, the people of California 100% deserve this. So I know people are going to have a lot of questions about this. So what does that mean for things that you already own? Okay, so if you already own something, let's say it's a featureless, it's got a fin grip on it, the stock is locked in some fashion. I used to put PVC in mine to keep them from going forward or pulling out. I just put a little slot of PVC in there so I didn't have to buy a bunch of new stuff. But if you're set up in that featureless configuration, that means you can go ahead and take that fin grip off. That means you can go ahead and remove whatever is locking that stock, and bam, you're right back to your standard configuration in whatever way that you want, because again, enforcement of that particular penal code will be enjoined, so they won't be able to come after you for that. If you're somebody who's in a mag-locked configuration, that means that you could take that mag lock off, you can start using a standard mag release, again, with all the same features that you currently have on it, because people that are mag-locked can have those adjustable stocks. So that's what that means. That also means that you can buy things, again, in their original configuration, and they would be legal at least during the time of the injunction. So that's something that you want to keep in mind. And this could happen at any moment. Okay, this decision could come down at any moment. So with that being said, as always, whenever it comes down to these things, and things are hard to find, especially right now, I am just dying trying to find parts and pieces, and let me tell you. So what I did is I put a Freedom Week list on my website, okay, and that list is going to have all the parts, not all of them, but a majority of the parts and pieces that I could find that you could use to convert from a featureless or convert from a maglock to a standard. I've got a list and links of all of those things that are in stock as of today. So I went ahead and created this big list, handed it off to my wife. She's going to go ahead and translate that, put it on the website, so that if you got 4 or 5 things that are all featureless in configuration, and you're worried about finding all the parts that you need, she'll go ahead and she'll put that up there on the website so that you can find everything organized in a way that you'll be able to find stuff in stock. So it's really tough right now. There's a big shortage, obviously, so that makes things a little bit more difficult. I mean, these big decisions couldn't come at a worse time, given the fact that it's just hard to find just about everything. It's really difficult. So nonetheless, another thing that you could do if you are somebody who wants to try something out, you could buy a complete lower. If this thing goes down, there's been a couple websites that have been really good to me, and a couple websites that have been really good to California, and that's Palmetto, and that is Primary Arms. That's why they're always on my website. They have a lot of respect for me because they're the ones who are holding things in carts for people in the state of California, mags and everything else. They'll hold it in your cart just about indefinitely until this thing is figured out. So they're holding things in their carts. They are allowing things to be shipped in first. So when there was a previous injunction in California's magazines, they were the first ones that were shipping into California, because they have a big legal team, so they can look at these things and say, okay, we're good to go. So again, it's those places who get a lot of my respect because they'll ship into California. So if something like this happens, you got to remember that in California, there's a 10-day plus waiting period, because right now California sucks at doing their background checks, and that 10-day waiting period has been extended for a lot of people. So if there is a way to even just dross a lower or a complete kit, or if you can find a complete kit online, I put a couple complete lowers in the links, but if you can find things that are complete like that and then have them shipped to your FFL, or at least have them sitting in your cart so they could be shipped readily, and then you could start your paperwork, I would do that, because we don't know if the injunction, if it does go through, if Benitez actually gives us the injunction, we don't know if it's going to last an hour, we don't know if it's going to last a day, or if it's going to last a week, if it's going to last months or years. We don't know, right? That is complete speculation if you hear anybody say it's going to be, at least a week. That's not the case. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but it's best to be prepared for these things, because, again, it's a very quick process, and like I said before, we know that Becerra is going to try and stay any injunction that Benitez gives. So there's a reason why he's referred to as Saint Benitez in those people who enjoy freedom. So anyway, that's what's going on in Miller v. Becerra. It's at Benitez, and Benitez is milling it over, and now we're just waiting to see if he actually enjoins enforcement of that AWB in California. So fingers crossed for everybody in California, and fingers crossed for everybody in the country, because what happens in California, even at the circuit level, can affect the entire country. So people who have similar laws like this in their states, New York, pay attention, because decisions like this could affect you as well. So I want to thank you all very much for watching. Please like, subscribe. Have a great day.